Ciao, guys. Welcome back to the Artful Podcast. It's Matteo, your host. And before we go on with the new episode, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, support the channel like that. It's really important. And no further ado, let's go on with the show. I'm good. Are you in the studio or are you still
Yeah, I'm not in the studio. I'm still at home right now.
Perfect. How's your day going?
It's been good. I'm just leaving the house. I'm taking my time to get to the studio today because I was in the studio till late last night. So,
I see.
uh, yeah, so I'll be going in this afternoon.
Been working on something in particular or
Yeah, I'm a residency here in London.
all right, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
So you working you've been living in London for a long time or
No, I came to London. I have a solo show up that opened last week in London.
all right, I
Um,
see.
so I came to also beside the solo, I also came for a residency, which is like a 1 month residency. So I
Oh,
have
okay.
like a 1 month to spend here in London before I go back to Nigeria.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's why usually you're working and produce your works.
Yeah, during the residency, you're supposed to produce a couple of works.
Hmm.
Yeah, for the gallery that you're working with.
And
So
then you
that's
do
what I'm
a
doing.
solo exhibition at the end. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mhm.
And are you enjoying your time in the UK?
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived actually in Bristol. I don't know if you know a little bit, which is a couple hours east to ovest, sorry, to London, and
Oh,
yeah, I lived there for like 8 years. It's where I did my studies and art
oh,
studies and stuff like that. So yeah, but
that's nice.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, missing UK was a good time. Yeah. Hi guys, in this new episode of the Artful Podcast, we are joined by Matthew. Thank you very much, Matthew, to take time and out of your day to be part of the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, Matt.
So why don't you introduce to the audience for those people that they might don't know you, and what's your background, and yeah, let's go from
Okay,
there.
my name is Matthew EGUAVOEN. I'm an artist from Nigeria. In Africa. I'm a contemporary artist. I make figurative paintings and portraiture. Before I started art, I studied civil engineering in school. But in my final year, I decided to start painting. Um, so I started practicing like a lot. So I'm a self-taught artist at the moment. Before I got to the point where I realized art is what I wanted to do, and then I wanted to do it full time. So currently, I'm doing art full time. Yeah, and it's been good so far.
Nice. So the reason why I contact you from on Instagram, what as you do nowadays, it's through social media. It's because obviously you do portrait and big fan of portrait. That's what I do as well in my practice, and I was just these incredible paintings. I really love your way of painting, your way of you capture the people that you're painting. So and there is obviously a specific focus that you have in your painting, which I would love to discuss later on in the podcast. And so you studied engineering, you said, which is obviously completely different from painting. And how? So what did it really push you to keep practicing art and give up on engineering and do full-time artist?
Okay, civil engineering was influenced by my dad.
All right.
It wasn't really what I wanted to do. I was interested in fashion designing, and I was also interested in art and computer science. but it felt like engineering, it would be easier for me to get a job when I graduate. And then it just had a thing for engineering, and it felt like it was an easy access into the labor market and all that shit. So by the time when I was in my final year, I didn't see myself practicing. I didn't see myself doing a white collar job. I wanted to do something else. I wanted something that I was happy with and something that I could continually just do, and something that doesn't seem like I was confined to a space. Yeah, and then arts was what came to me. I realized that it was something I was initially in school. I was good at technical drawings, biological drawings and all that, but I didn't see myself as an artist then. But when it got to my final year and I started practicing, I started doing art. Somebody at that point showed me a painting on Instagram, and I was like, I can do something like this, even though I was not good when I did something like that.
Yeah, obviously.
I didn't stop. Yeah, so I kept on practicing and practicing until I got better. That was way back in 2013. In 2018, I decided to say, okay, I've done a lot of sketch, pencil works and all that. I want to paint, actually. I want to make paintings. So that was when I started painting in 2018. And in 2020, during the pandemic, we were in the house. Like, I wasn't doing anything else. So it was like first period for me to just do painting. So I kept on building myself, working on my work and all that. In 2021, I broke out. So that was where the decision took place. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great story. I love the fact that obviously it is most likely for artists, that's how they start. They usually get involved with something else, and then they decide at some point, that's not really what I want to do. I just want to be myself. And it's really brave from a part, because obviously you don't know how is it gonna go, and especially in art, it's such a difficult word to break in. And
the thing with that is while I was doing art, it was not paying the bills. It was not bringing in money, but I enjoyed doing it. I loved it. So it wasn't easy to stop. It wasn't something I was just doing because I wanted to make money out of it. I was just doing it because of my love for it. And I was doing other things that brought money for me, but not so much. But I was able to, from those other things I was doing, finance my art, buy art materials and stuff like that. So it was something I enjoyed doing in the beginning before it started becoming something that was fetching me money at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's talk about your portrait. Those I was saying before, they have a specific focus, which for what I kind of saw, read a little bit, and obviously seeing the paintings, they have a focus on a black kind of portrait, black people, and the culture that's behind and that's around the black people. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? So to explain a little bit about your portrait.
Okay. I'm from Africa, and my works usually draw attention to issues that happen here in Africa, and I can't do it using a model who is white. I can't do it using a model who is from.
I can hear you properly a little. If you
can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So I said I'm an artist from Africa, and I draw attentions to issues happening here in Africa. So I can only do that using subjects who are Africans, because that way you are able to connect better. I can't do it using a white figure, a white subject. You understand? I can't do it using somebody who is from Iran, or somebody who is from Asia, somebody who is from Europe. I can only do it with somebody who is from Africa. Yeah. So that's why the black figures, the brown skin and all that, because I want to be able to connect to the issues around here, going on around here. Each of them, you find out they have a very striking gaze. They look at you almost directly into your eyes. And it looks like they're drawing you in. That technique is for you to try to imagine what the person is going through at that particular moment, because they say the eyes is the window to the soul. So when you look at it, you're trying to imagine what was this model? What was the subject thinking at this particular time? What shaped their experiences? What background did they grow up in? Yeah, you understand what experiences have they had before they got to this particular point in their life. So that's what my work is about. It's about the experiences of human beings, which is what shape us as people, because it's our experiences that add up to make up for who we are at this time of our lives.
That's amazing. Is there something that kind of came to you while you were experimenting and exploring your art? The eyes looking at the audience straight, or it's something that you planned and you were like, okay, I'm gonna do this?
Okay, for me, I really can maintain 5 seconds eye contact with a person.
I see.
So I usually just look away. I feel more confident just looking away, talking about what I want to talk about, because then I'm not distracted by the person I'm talking to. I could voice my opinion and all that. So with my art, I'm able to look directly into your eyes. You understand? So I was able to put that attention in my art, even though I don't have it in real life. You understand? So, and also something you would notice with the eyes, they're kind of really dark. They're not just bright white. You understand? In the paintings. That's a way of me representing the experiences each of those models must have gone through, because they've seen a lot of things, they've experienced a lot of things. That's why the eyes are really, really dark. So you could tell that this person must have had a lot of experiences, maybe shocking experiences, maybe bad experiences, maybe even happy at times and stuff like that. So that's why the eyes is the way they are, and then are really dark.
I love that. That's really interesting. And the fact that you use your art to kind of explore a different side of yourself, as you cannot look into the eyes and of you find that's funny, and that's super interesting. It's the color choice as well that you use as a self-taught artist, as I understand that you didn't go into schools yet, art schools. I have to compliment on the choices of the colors and the composition as well, because it's something that it's not that it's really difficult to get it, especially like with dark skin people, and it's really a really fantastic paintings that you produce for the colors as well. These bright colors contrasting the color of the skin. Beautiful work. Is there something that you are you pay attention when you paint, or is there, I don't know, it's an instinctive natural for you to pick up colors? And
because I wanted to do fashion designing when I started. Fashion is something I enjoy, even in the way I dress, even in the way I want to look, but I couldn't do it in the beginning. So I wanted to also find a way to also put that part of me in my work. So you could find out that my models most times are dressing really flamboyantly, looking really colorful. Something that has to do with that color is also the fact that I want the paintings to be pleasing to the eyes. When you look at it, you want to look at it again. You don't just want to look at it and then take your eyes off it. You want to look at it again, because I try to look for colors that goes with the other. If I'm using yellow, what other color go with yellow? So everything, there's a transition from one color palette to the other. You understand? So you're able to look at this painting and look at it over and over again. You understand? Besides that is the fashion sense the model has, which is something I really wanted to do when I was growing up and then couldn't.
Yeah, I can only imagine what you can do with if you actually put some like studies, you spend years into that. That's I'm really, when you said you were self-taught, I was surprised, to be honest, because you can see a different way of painting, which is obviously in a good way. Do you is that so? It's been only a few years that you've been painting. Have you seen a transition, an evolution of your paintings, and then now it's a kind of, you feel more like that's your specific way of doing stuff?
So when I started painting, the first painting I made was of a teddy bear. then I was just trying to find myself. Like I'd never painted before, and I wanted to paint something, and I was scared. I got a canvas 2017. I got I couldn't paint almost a year. I just was really scared to mess up the canvas because then it was expensive to get canvases. So when I got one, I was like, if I have to paint anything, it has to be good. You understand? So that was what we want to make me get a new, or not me, I mean another canvas. So if I mess it up, I likely would not want to get another canvas. So I kept it for a very long time until 2018 when I decided to say, okay, now I think I should just go for it and do it. You understand? So I made a painting of a teddy bear. After then, I kept on making paintings of teddy bear. And after a while, I was like, what do I want to really achieve with art? I mean, with painting, what do I want to actually do with painting? That was when I started saying, okay, maybe let me just try portraiture. And I started doing portraiture. I wasn't really so good, you understand, but it was a practice, like a practice process for me, study process. I was just creating different portraitures of people, children and stuff like that, until 2020 when I had to look into the art world. I had to look up at people who were doing so well in the art world. What were they doing differently? Where are they in their career? It helps me expand my mind on where I can be. You understand?
Nice.
In my own career too, because I'm also in that field. So it helps me also expand my mind on not just trying to know how to paint, but also finding a reason for why I'm doing the painting. So that also helped me inspire my style right now, and then the issues my works are drawing attention to, because I feel like anybody can paint. You understand? But what are you doing differently with your work that's actually tells a story or actually connects with people and yourself first? You understand? So that was what changed everything for me eventually. And then at the end of 2020, I
was gonna say,
so at the end of 2020, I was able to. I can hear you.
I was gonna say, it's why are you interested to with using your art? It's telling stories and creating questions in the audience, and try to challenge the audience to think about what you want to expect. Yeah, that's super nice.
And, so that's it.
Yeah, it's so let's get a little bit more technical, because I always like to understand how artists approach the canvas, and like in a technical way, because I'm a little bit of that kind of really perfectionist when I do my stuff. It's so you have this white canvas next in front of you. You have an idea. How do you start the process? So do you take some pictures of the person, or do you do live painting?
No, I get most of my references from Instagram. The image has to talk to me first, has to connect with me first, and also has to connect with the issues I want to discuss about. I don't just use any image I find on Instagram. So when I find an image that really connects with what I want to talk about and also connects with me personally, the first thing I do, I try to take permission from the photographer to give me consent to use the image. Then secondly, I look at the image. I find issues, reasons for why I want to paint it, and when I do find that, I when I'm in front of the canvas, I make the sketch from the image. Maybe project the image on the canvas, and when I'm done sketching with a pencil, I stain the canvas with acrylic, very very fluid acrylic with a lot of water in it. So because I don't want to work from a white surface, I want it stained. So when I finish staining, I allow it to dry. Then I start applying the oil paints. I work with oil and acrylic. The background is in oil, and then the skin is in acrylic. So I start with the oil paint first, because oil takes time to dry. So acrylic dries faster. So I start with oil. So I do all the backgrounds, the clothes and everything with the oil. And then when I'm done, I go in with the acrylic on the skin and the face. Then the eyes is what I do last, because the eyes is what connects whoever is looking at the work with the work at the end of the day. So I do the eyes last, and when it is done, all through that process, I think about the work. I think about what I want to achieve with the work. I think about where I'm going to with the work and what I want the work to address at the end of the day or at the end of the painting. So at the end of the painting, by the end of the painting, when it's done, I'm able to say, okay, this is why I created this work, and this is what I want to use this work, the issues I want to use this work to address, and that's it.
That's cool. Do you see yourself maybe changing in the future how you approach the canvas, or you feel really comfortable doing this process?
For now, I feel very comfortable going through this process. But as an artist, you have to evolve. You understand? You say if you don't evolve, you die. So over time, I've evolved. I wasn't doing this when I started. You understand? So at some point, I decided to do this. So I feel like as I go, I always find better ways or even easier ways to approach the canvas and still have the best results that I want at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's great. Is that so? You have a show right now in London, right? That's where you are.
Yes, my solo show. Yeah.
Is there? Do you want to talk a little bit about what's going on? What's the theme? Maybe if there isn't one. What's behind the show?
Okay. The show is about the title of the show is Akate. Akate is a word used to describe people who traveled abroad. Where I'm from Benin, Edo State in Lagos. Edo State in Nigeria. Akate is a word we use to describe people who travel out, like migrate out of Africa or out of Nigeria to the Western world. We used to call them Akate. So the work is about people who travel out and leave Africa just because of the insecurity positions in Africa and the bad economy, the society and all that stuff going on in Africa or going on in Nigeria, where I'm from. But I go further to question if we all run away, if we all leave Africa, who fix Africa? Who fix Nigeria? Who does the fixing at the end of the day? Yeah, it's easier. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it looks easy to just leave and then go find greener pasture and find a life for yourself and maybe for your family. But the issues they're still there. You understand? It doesn't change. Yeah. So who does the job? Who fixes a lot of all these things that we talk about that we don't want to see? Who do that job? So that's mainly what the works are about. It's about, and I know that London has a lot of immigrants. Mostly from Africa. So it was an opportunity for me to introduce the works and be able to raise those questions and see what the people think. Around here and what their opinions are about it.
I personally love when a show has a meaning like that. And as you said, for me, the main point of making art and doing these shows and investing all your time in creating these artworks, it's raising question to people that they didn't think about a subject that you care, and that you raising question in the mind of these people that they're like, oh yeah, right, what about this? And for me, that's the reason why I hope most of the artists do art, and not only for economic reason and stuff like that. So it's a beautiful concept that you have behind the show, and especially it connects a little bit with me because obviously I'm Italian, and I left Italy when I was 19. So more than 15 years ago. It's and yes, it's true, who's gonna fix Italy if the old young people leaving? But yeah, I for me it was a really difficult for me thinking what myself in Italy doing what I do. It's really difficult for me vision that, because I don't think there is any way for me to do this in Italy. Yeah, which is sad, obviously, because who wants to leave your country? Like, who does want to leave the country where they're from? Like, nobody does, but they do it.
Somehow it goes further to, because I'm at the residency now, and I'm creating a new body of work, which is actually kind of connected to the issues I was raising with my solo. Having conversations with people like you who are also migrants from their home country, I find out that it wasn't easy to want to leave, but it was like the only choice at the time. You understand? So, now it now drives you to the point where you now think, okay, in my own sphere, in my own career, my own circle, what am I doing differently to cause a change back home? You understand?
Yeah.
You don't have to be home, but what are you doing differently in your own space? How are you using your work? What you're doing right now to also create a change or draw attention to this issue, just like I'm doing as an artist. How are you using your found greener pasture? Because I call it greener pasture because that is why most people leave. Left wherever they left. So now that you found greener pasture, how are you using that situation, that condition where you're in right now to also draw attention to those issues and see what you can do differently? I think if everyone, each and every one of us do something differently, it doesn't matter how small it is. When you put them together, it becomes something big at the end of the day, and you start seeing those changes at the end of the day in Africa or wherever you're from.
It's literally like one of my biggest projects that I have right now. It's been on for a couple of years. It's about immigration. It's about because it's more like changing the view of being an immigrant and what immigrants is in society, which when you think about immigrants or refugees or stuff like that, you think about this desperate situation when it's not only that, it's people like me, not like people that come and they want to change their life and they just want to explore, they want to go see places, and they want to grow through traveling. That's an immigrant as well, and it's not only those crazy stories that we hear swimming through the sea and stuff like that. So that's what I do as well with my art. It's changing, maybe one day changing the view or helping to change the view of what immigrants is, and seeing a different aspect and not giving that negative aspect maybe only to the world. So I completely agree to what you're saying, and love the concept of the show and the whole reason why you're doing art, which is great. And I don't want to take too much time out of your day, Matthew. Thank you very much to be part of the podcast. This was a great conversation. If you want to plug any Instagram, your shows, go ahead.
Okay, my Instagram is Matteo EGUAVOEN _art.
Your mic, it's
Okay, MATTHEWEGUAVOEN _ART. That's my Instagram, and I have an ongoing solo show happening here in London with PM and AM Gallery. It's on till 11th of October, and also I have an upcoming group show with Out of African Gallery, which is taking place on the 9th till 12th of October also. Then I have a show with Africaris, is a fair, Aka Paris, taking place also next month. Then I have, what's it called? A fair in Lagos in November, at X Lagos, taking place in November. Yeah, so those are the things.
Wonderful. If you are in any of those places, go see Matthew, amazing artworks. I will put all the links down in the description so they can follow you and they can see all the shows. And thank you very much again, Matthew. Have a great day, and keep up the great work.
Thank you very much.
Bye.